Okay. Doug Barnert from the Group of North American Insurance Enterprises. Good morning, good afternoon to both of you. One of the decisions that the boards made last Friday was to postpone or prolong the exposure draft on IAS 37 changes on liabilities. And this is, while it's more of a standard for the IFRS, we know that some of these could affect decisions that are being made on joint projects also. And the argument that was made was that the constituents didn't understand the issues that were being discussed. And so that maybe you could explain it a little better in a memorandum that you might put out. Well, one of the things that the insurance industry, the Group of North American Insurance Enterprises that I represent, and also other members of the chambers that we talk to, are very concerned about the recognition of liabilities that are unlikely to occur or unlikely to have any type of a payout. And we read the language pretty clearly, and we don't understand why we still getting some resistance to the fact that there's pretty clear language, but the board doesn't seem to understand that we object to that and don't want to see it. We'd rather see a FAS 5 liability approach or something more like the Securities and Exchange Commission staff bulletin, where something has to be more likely to occur than not before it would be booked as a liability. So just wondering how you see this progressing and also what the possible knock-on effect is on other projects at the IASB.
Well, we've certainly extended the exposure period, mainly because we only had a partial exposure of this standard. We put out on our website the remainder of the standard, which we didn't feel we'd learn any more if we exposed. The point that you raised, Doug, was the issue of liability recognition. And what we've done as far as that's concerned, we've removed the more likely than not criterion. So it's a question, do you have a liability? Can you measure it reliably? Previously, there was this more likely than not criterion in the middle of it. We don't actually think that's going to lead to more liabilities, because in most cases there will not be a liability, so you don't even have to go as far as more likely than not. I think one of the big concerns is on litigation risk. The fact is, when the exposure draft did go out several years ago now, it sort of implied that if you had a legal claim, then a liability existed. That is not in the new one. Basically, you have to look at it and you think, do I think that I have a liability, I have an obligation to pay? If you don't provide anything. It's only if you think you have a liability do you start assessing what the liable outcome might be. So we don't see a massive change. We don't see many more liabilities appearing. You have to make your assessment. Does an obligation exist or not? And that will help with legal advice too. So we don't really think much has changed.